On today's try to finish something, it is supposed to be hot here in California. It's supposed to be 108 today. It's early in the morning and it's already hot. And I need to work on that retaining wall that my wife wants me to build. Notice I keep mentioning her in this because this isn't a project that I thought of, but it's a project that will help her out. And this channel is supposed to be about finishing something, not just my projects, but things around the house, things around our property, living on the acres that we live on. There's always something to do, and I've got to get closer to finishing that retaining wall. And my plan is to build up the blocks, level off the top of that, and create the entryway path to where the horses are at night. And I'm going to work on that today. But another thing that I've been working on is I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and one of the YouTube channels that I watch is Punished Props Academy, and they're always pouring things out of resin. And the advice that they give is when you're pouring something out of resin, have a bunch of other things to pour to use up that extra resin. Since it's expensive and you're already doing it, you might as well use it. So I've tried to apply that to my own life and my own builds, and I've got the Glowforge printer, and I'm always printing things, and when you print something, you wind up with a lot of extra space that's not used in all of these areas that nothing winds up getting cut from. So what I've been doing is trying to kill two birds with one stone, and I've been using my Inkscape program, which is kind of like Adobe Illustrator, except it's just a really dumbed down version. It's got a lot of capabilities, but I've been trying to print small greeblies, things like this, that can get printed out of some of the scrap areas on the Glowforge. And so I've been making all of these little things, these greeblies, and all of these shapes because I've got another Star Wars build in mind, and as soon as I finish this retaining wall, I think I'm going to do a gonk droid. A gonk droid is in my future, and I'm going to challenge myself to do it with just things that I have on hand. No trips to the store, finding things I have here. And I realize I'm at a bit of an advantage because I do have the Glowforge and I collect a lot of greeblies, and I'm going to apply all of that in the next build to try and build my own gonk droid. But on today's try to finish something, that retaining wall needs to get finished. I'm going to try not to get heat stroke and finish that retaining wall on today's try to finish something.
So this is where I left off and what I finished last time. Bottom row in, trench dug, and the bottom row in a bit of concrete. Time to stack the blocks 3 high. This looks to be about level with the bottom of the fence posts and the height that I've decided to go for. Now, I've set up a few of my leftover pavers from my front yard project in here to see what the spacing looks like. My plan was originally going to be stairs, but I thought that a ramp would work better for my wife since she winds up bringing the wheelbarrows down here from time to time. And here's a quick shot of what I built for the front yard. I should have enough bricks left over from this front yard project to do the path and in front of the loafing shed. First, to dig out the sides, where I'm going to build up the side walls to my ramp. I'm going slow on this side because there is a low voltage electrical pipe in here somewhere. It's in a terrible spot, and I don't want to dig this whole pipe up and move it or heat it up and try and bend it out of the way, but I have a solution. I'm just going to notch out the stacking blocks to fit around the pipe. It will help protect the pipe, and in the end, it's just going to be easier for me. I bought this concrete saw blade when I was doing the front yard circle to cut out a few of my own specific shape blocks that aren't readily available. And that looks like it worked. So I added the top blocks on my sides, cleared out and spread out the interior that will eventually get rock in there and probably concrete. I haven't decided yet. Now to the other side and do the same thing, except this side has no pipe to avoid and it should go quicker. It is really hot out here. All right, I add my gravel and level out the block. So for anyone who has ever dealt with hot wire is a low voltage electrical wire that you string around livestock fences to keep the animals off the fences, to protect the fence, and to keep the animals in an area. I've touched it plenty of times. It's a bit of a jolt, and you should shut it off when you're working around it. Yep, I didn't. Sweaty head and electrical wire. Got me pretty good. I think I lost the ability to smell lilacs. Oh well. Now to bust up the hard-packed dirt of the ramp. My plan is still the same. I will level out the ramp and then wet set the first and the last row of pavers, and then add in the rest to balance out the look, adding random 4 and 6-inch pavers until I get the look I want. So I don't like the look of the triangles between the stacking blocks, the way that looks with that blank space, and I've paid professional pavers to install areas in my front yard, and what they do is they will fill that in with some crushed rock and sand and call it good. You think I just obsess over Star Wars costumes. I obsess over every detail in all the things I make, and I don't accept the professional installation way of doing it. I am patterning and cutting some custom pavers to fit inside that space, and then with some sand should make this look more to my liking. See that pencil to the left? That's expanding foam from my helmet kebab base build. That stuff got everywhere and it was super sticky. Okay, the triangles are made and it's time to wet set this whole edge and play Tetris with the rest of the path after I add weed barrier and sand. And yes, I am going to cut custom shapes and pieces for all of the meeting edges with the retaining wall. I have issues, so many issues. Now to add in some sand to fill the joints and keep the pavers from sliding around. I will sweep the sand into the spaces and wet it down. Retaining wall and the entry path is finished. All right, this is going to date me. Remember the old Nestle tea commercials? Take the Nestle plunge. I'm doing it with a Diet Dr. Pepper. Ooh, look, there's still a little bit of soda left. Oh, that's a bit watered down. Oh well, I will leave you with a few glam shots of the pavers and the wall. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. And as always, if you didn't, just keep it to yourself. And we'll see you next time as we try to finish something.